Greetings and welcome, fellow mathematicians and math fans of all ages. We are talking about solving systems by substitution, and we're going to throw some words in our problems and do this together. We're going to use the VISA model, so to speak, V-E-S-A, in which I will define my variables, write my equations, solve those equations, and then write an answer, which a word problem is going to have a word answer, friends. And let's see if I can actually use some nice colors here for us as well to define our variables. We'll do one read through of the problem first. Although, to be honest, for part one of the problem, you just got to look at the last part of the problem. That's all you got to do. But let's read the problem. A drama club. Ooh, man, I feel like I'm really there. Earns $1,040 from a production. A total of 64 adult tickets and 132 student tickets are sold. Based on these numbers, I'm reaching for a calculator right now. Yoink. An adult ticket costs twice as much as a student ticket. Write a system, meaning there's going to be more than one equation, E times 2, right? Or more, actually, but in this case it's 2, that represents this situation. Then it asks, what is the price of each type of ticket? So when you define your variables are like 95% of the time going to be what the problem is asking. So look for the question mark and see if you can define your variables. What is the price of each type of ticket? So I'm going to say, let's let X equal the price per. And there were two types of tickets. What were the two types? Adults and students. So price per adult we'll start with. And price is something that's going to be measured in currency. Based on the fact that I see a currency of American dollars here, we might as well have our units agree with their units. So X will be the price per adult. Y will be the price per student. Also measured in dollars Americano. Okay, now we're going to define our equations. If I have two variables, I'm going to need two facts to help me narrow down what those two variables are. Okay, so I'm going to have two types of equations here. My blue equation, I'm going to highlight the blue facts about. It said they earned $1,040 from a production. Okay? That the number of tickets they sold was 64 adult tickets and 132 student tickets are sold. Okay, so based on those blue facts and these variables, I'm going to try to write an equation that represents that. So if that's the amount of money they brought in, I'm going to write an equation that equals that total amount of money. Their money came from two areas. The amount they made from the adults and the amount they made from the students. If I want to figure out how much they made from the adults, right? Adult income, something like that. I would take the number of adults, 64, and multiply by the price per adult. Right? So number of adults multiply by the price per adult. What is the price per adult? That's X, yeah. So 64 times X is the amount of money they earn just from the adults. If tickets are $1, I would take 64, multiply by $1 each. They earned $64. If tickets are $2, I would do 64 times 2, and they would have earned $128 from the adults. Okay, let's figure out the student income, right? So for the students, I'm going to take the number of student tickets sold, which is 132, and multiply that by the price for each of those 132 tickets. What is the price for those tickets? Why? If I multiply those things, that'll be the total amount of money they made from students. So if student tickets are $1, how much money did they make from students? 132, right? If student tickets are $2, I would multiply 132 times 2, and that's $264. Now, if these are the amounts of income from each, and this is the total, what could I do with these numbers to get the total? Add them. That's right. Add them up. Add them up. All right. That is one equation or one fact, but two unknowns need two facts for me to solve. Let's write a purple equation here. Here's another fact they told me. Adult tickets cost twice as much as student tickets. All right. Adult ticket cost. What represents the adult ticket cost? Yeah, I almost disagreed. I was going to say Y, and then you guys were right. My bad. X is the price per adult, and it said it is twice as much as a student ticket. So X is going to equal, what does twice as much mean? Yeah, to multiply something by 2, and what am I multiplying by 2? A student ticket cost, which is, what is a student ticket cost or a student ticket price? Y. So X equals 2Y. I like it. I like it. All right. Yeah, we are all on fire. This is amazing. Actually, don't be on fire. I'm a firefighter. I don't recommend being on fire. Don't do that. All right. Let's solve this. Okay. Yeah, S is for solve. So now, right, you guys are experts at solving systems. Here's two equations, right? Here's equation 1 and equation 2. Which equation should I solve for? And which variable in the second equation? You want to solve for Y first? X. Yeah, why do we like this X? Why do I like that X? Because it's got a positive 1 coefficient, right? That's why. And so let's see, solving, we're going to use substitution, okay? Technically, I could graph these. Maybe I'll even show you a graph of this at the end so you can kind of see how it worked out. But if I want to solve by substitution, step 1 in substitution is solve one of the equations for one of its variables. Step 1 is done, right? This is already solved for X. Step 2 is substitute, right, that expression in for the other equation's variable. If X is really equal to 2Y, that means I should be able to plug 2Y in for the other equation's X. That's the big idea for this whole, right, section, is if two things are equal, I can swap them around and no one will know the difference, right? So let's do that. So 64 times X is now 64 times what? I'm replacing times 2Y. And then let's write the rest of this equation. Plus 132Y, 132e is equal to 1040. Okay. Now, let's keep solving this. This is helpful to us, even though this is uglier than any of those other two equations. Except it only has one type of variable. There's only y's in this. So let's solve this. 64 times 2y, 128y, plus 132y is equal to 1040. I can combine those? Yeah, those are like terms. They both have y's, y to the firsts, technically. So 128y's plus 132y's, that's going to be 260y's. Did I get that right? Feels right. Is equal to 1040. How do I solve for y? Divide both sides. I have suspicions as to what this equals. Let's use a calculator. 1040 divided by 260. I get y equals 4. What does that mean? What does y equals 4 mean in terms of these words problems? Y is the price per student. So if I say y equals 4, That means student tickets, $4. Right? Okay. All right. Now, that's only half the answer, though. I want to know the price of each. So, to find x, what could I do? Well, if y equals 4, I can plug this in to either of the original equations for y. I could plug it in here or here, but I'm going to plug it in here. Why do I like this equation better? It's easier because it's already solved for x, and I happen to know I'm looking for x, right? So I'm going to do that work over here. So x equals 2 times, and instead of y, what do we get? 4. And so x is equal to 8. I like it. Boom. All right, so let's write an answer. VESA, right? I defined variables, wrote my equations, I solved it. But when someone asks you a question, I hope you don't just say x equals 8, y equals 4, right? You got to answer their question. They wanted to know the price of each ticket. So I'm going to say that adult tickets cost $8, and student tickets, student, there we go, tickets are $4. Right? Is that believable? Seem to make sense? Oh, the y showed up at down here. Yeah, that's where the y done showed up. Let's see. So you guys can still be writing that down. I'm so pumped. So pumped. All right, and x equals... You guys, check this out. If we were to solve this graphically, it would have looked like this. All right, if we were to solve this graphically, here would have been my 2 equations. I would have found the intersection between those things. I would have found that the x was equal to 8 and the y was equal to 4. What did those mean? X was the price per adult and y was the price per student. All right, so I would have written my 2 facts, and using 2 facts, I would have found the one time in all of the infinitely many solutions on each individual line that would have made both equations true at the same time, their intersection. Okay? Okay, let's look at one more together. Let's look at one more. And then we'll have some class quests. There will be a homework problem like this tonight. Yeah. Yeah, keep flipping pages until you find question 14. This is from practice packet, probably 5.2a, is my guess. No? I hope so. Oh dear. Oh bother. That's all right. No. Prac 5.2a. Here, I'll show. It's in the packet. Yep, this is what you're looking for. All right, so we found it. We're together now. All together now. All together now. All right. Okay, here we go. A biologia test is worth 100 points and has 36 questions. Okay, here we go. Multiple choice questions are worth 2 points each. And essay questions are worth 6. Here's the question. How many questions of each type are the test? Let's solve A and start with defining our variables. I'll use them. You can use all these colors you'd like. So variables are going to be related to the question. How many of each type? So let's let x equal the number of what? And y equal the number of, what are the 2 types? I'll do multiple choice first. Number of multiple choice questions. Now, for the last problem we did, remember that our variables represented the price per. In this case, actually, yeah, sometimes you can just guess the answers on these. It's true. You should write it down, show it to Jimmy, and then see if you're right at the end of it. Yeah. So last time, our variables represented how much things were worth. This time, our variables represent how many of each there were. And we happen to actually already know how much they're worth, right? So here's my variables. Let's define, write our equations. Blue equation is going to be based on the first fact. Okay. Now I've got two types of things going on. I know stuff about points, and points. Okay? Multiple choice, essay questions. Okay. Could someone combine everything I just underlined in blue regarding points? Could someone combine that, as well as our variables, into an equation? It's tricky. The total worth is 100. So whatever I have adds up to 100, equals 100. What do you think my equation could look like? Well, if multiple choice are worth 2 points each, so if I take 2 points, multiply by the number of multiple choice questions, so these would be the multiple choice total points, right? You guys agree if I take 2 points each, multiply by the number of them, that's how many points I get from multiple choice questions? Could someone write the next part of this? 6y, and what does 6 represent? Yeah, the points per essay question. Y is the... No, hold up. Y is the number of essay questions. If I multiply those, what do they combine to be when I multiply them? That would be the essay total points, right? That's the number of points I get from all those essay questions. How could I combine these to get the hundo total? Right? Well, take these points and those points, and all together they're equal to 100. I'm going to add those together. All right. Does someone see the remaining fact? Ignoring part B. All right. I'm just looking at these two parts. What's another fact? No, you're right. The number of questions. Well, I'm not interested in the answer as much as I am the process right now. Our first equation was all about the worth. Okay, was how much what this equation was about. Our next equation will be about quantity. All right, which means like how many of them there are. Okay, so there is a total of 36 questions. And there are 2 types of questions. What's that equation going to look like? Yeah, it's equal to 36. No. There's 2 types of questions, multiple choice and essay. I don't know yet. You might be thinking of the answers already. Now, the total number of questions is 36. How many multiple choice questions are there? X of them. How many essay questions are there? Y of them. If I add the 2 types of questions together, that's going to equal 36. All right? Let's solve this. So I've got my 2 equations. I'm actually going to... Internet friends, you can fast forward if you like, or you can try this at home. I'm going to walk around and see how my friends in real life are solving this problem. So, when solving, internet friends, I'm back. You can see that I'm scribbling over here. I'm alive. I've got two equations I'm solving. Gentlemen, track with me. Track with me, please. I'm not interested in the answer just yet. I'm interested in the method. Right? So, I want to solve for one of these equations variables. This one. Ugh. This one. This one or this one, though, Devin. Please follow along. Have leading coefficients of 1. So those are great choices. Let's say we solve for this equation's y. All right, so step 1 of substitution is solve one of the equations for one of its variables. I'll rewrite it, even though you don't have to because it happened to be right there. To get that y by itself, what would I do? How do I get this y by itself? I want to get rid of everything else. How do I get rid of this x? Yep. I'm going to have y equals, negative x plus 36. Now, I wrote the negative x under the 36, but those aren't like terms. I was just trying to put it in front of the 36, and there wasn't a lot of space. So now this is solved for y. These two things are equal. The claim is that if they are equal, I can interchange them anytime I want. So I'm going to plug it in for this y here, just for the y. All right, so let's write what we get. So 2x plus 6 times what? Wait, instead of y, I've got this thing now in its place. Swapped them when no one was looking. And that's equal to 100. And even though this one equation is uglier than either of the others, it's simpler because there's only one kind of variable within it. Seems like bullying over there. I don't know. So let's see. Let's distribute and solve. 2x. 6 times negative x is negative 6x. 6 times 36 is plus... times 36. 180 plus 36, 216? Equals 100. We can combine like terms. Do I have to add 6x to both sides? No, because they're on the same side, right? They're both on the left side of the equation. So I can just combine them. 2x's minus 6x's is negative 4x's plus 216 equals 100. You could have used any other number of ways to get to your answer. So just because you might have solved for this x first, don't think you're wrong just yet. How do I get this x by itself? Well, this is multiply, this is add. I should deal SADMEP, I deal with addition or subtraction before I do multiplication. The inverse of adding 216 is subtracting. So I will have these cancel out, right? So I'll have a negative 4x equals negative 116. Now how do I get rid of that negative 4? Yeah, I divide. That's a minus sign. It's not a subtraction sign. Yeah, it's actually being multiplied here. So the inverse operation is to divide both sides by negative 4. And I'm going to get x equals... Is it 24? No, wait a minute. No. It's going to be 25 plus 4. 29, I think? But 216 divided by... Or 116, sorry. 116 divided by 4 is 29. Yeah. Well, negative divided by negative became positive, though. Right? Negatives here, negative there, negative becomes positive. So this is what x equals to, but that's only half of our answer. Where should I plug it? I could plug it in for this equation's x. I could plug it in for this equation's x. Best place is this equation's x because this is already solved for y. All right, no squeaking today. What's with all the squeaking? Y equals the opposite of x, which is 29. All right, that's enough, please, gentlemen. Please, I'm asking kindly. Yeah, let's end the noise pollution. 36 minus 29 is 7. So if you chose a different route, you still should have gotten these same numbers. Okay? So what do those numbers represent? What does 29 and 7 mean? It's the number of questions. Yeah, my variables, because we do a good job on that, answers the question for us. Okay, so let's see. So my answer, final answer, VESA, is going to be there are 29 multiple choice questions. And what? 7 essay questions. Done. All right. Thanks for watching, mis amigos de internet.